Hey everyone, welcome back to another $1,000 strap search. This is the third one in my tips series. I've got my $1,000 here. It is the third thousand from the $3,000 that I had collected from a bank. The bank told me that a waitress or a bartender was saving all their singles so that they could go on vacation, and they turned in 3,000 singles. So I bought all 3,000 singles and I went through them 1,000 at a time. This is the third batch. Before I get to what I found in there, let me show you some of the things that I've learned over the last couple of trips. When you're at the bank, if you are like the only person there, if it's slow, basically is what I'm saying, don't be afraid to ask the tellers if they have spotted any old currency. If it's slow and they're bored, they may look around and see what's been left over. A lot of the banks will mute the bills, short for mutilate the bills. They will send them back to the Federal Reserve because the small head bills don't go into vending machines and stuff like that. Anyway, because I asked, I did get, this is a 1981 $10 bill. Not the greatest of shape, but 1981 $10 bill. I checked out the book on it, and it's $17.50. So I mean, that's free money. $17.50 on a $10 investment. I picked up this one, which is a 1950C. I was really surprised to see one that old. 1950C $10 bill. This one's over $20. So I doubled my money on this one. And then I found a 1988A. This $20 bill doesn't seem like it's that old. Doesn't seem like it would be worth very much, but I checked it in the book, and even though it's a 20, it's still worth 25 just because it's a small head and it's in decent shape. So don't discount some of the more modern bills. And then finally, I found a 1981. The 1981 books out at $30. So my 20 got me 30. So just by making a quick little ask at the bank, hey, have you seen any of the small head bills? I ended up getting these 4 bills, and I'm profiting on all of them. They're going into my collection, obviously. I'm not going to be reselling them anytime soon. But still, I didn't have to pay their actual collector value for them. I got them for face value. All right, so there's my 1,000. We'll get that out of the way. Let's see what I found in the last batch. I did find a number of Where's George bills. I love putting in the numbers and seeing where they come from. Another Where's George bill. I knew that being from a tip collection, there was going to be quite a few of these because generally people that do Where's George like to have the bills continue to circulate. So the best way to do that is to use them as tips or use them in places where people are likely to pay with a 20 and need a lot of singles for change. So that's that one. This Where's George bill, they just hand wrote it on here. I went to look it up, and whoever wrote this on here never bothered to hit enter. So when I went to Where's George and put this number in to see where it had been, it hadn't been anywhere. So they simply wrote that on there and never logged the bill. So by me going on there, I was the one that will be counted as the one to log the bill. The last batch that I had no trinaries in it. I was really surprised to find that. This batch did have a couple of trinaries, 5s, 6s, and 8s, 2s, 5s, and 7s, 3s, 6s, and 8s. And then I've got quads, quad 1s, this bill ending in quad 1s, also, also having a 5th one in there. Another quad 1s, quad 4s, quad 8s, and then we've got another trinary here. This one is 0s, 5s, and 9s. That one slipped out of the order. Did find a couple birthday bills. This one is July 19th, 1941. So either a birthday bill or an anniversary bill. This one is 4/4/1962, April 4th, 1962. Did find some star notes. This one is nice and crisp. Another crisp bill. My last video I showed you some of the ones that I had found that were worth a couple bucks, so I was happy about that. Maybe I'll get lucky again. This one here is really crisp, and it's a 2006, so I've got high hopes for that one. For older bills, a 99 has a teller stamp on it. 95, not so nice. Looks like it was left in somebody's pocket and went through the wash. Another 95, also a rag. 95, I hope that's coffee stained on there. An 88A, not a Webby. And another 88A. So that's what I pulled, and that concludes what I found in the tips series. So now for something from my safety deposit box. This is not in my safety deposit box, but this just happens to be one of the first paper money books that I had ever gotten. This particular book, it's the official Black Book Price Guide to United States Paper Money. It's not the book I use now, but back when I first got this book, I used it more as a checklist and obviously as a guide, so that I knew if something was worth $20 or $200 or $1,000. You know, the exact number wasn't really important to me, but having some range helped out a little in my buying decisions. But what intrigued me was what they had on the cover. What intrigued me on the cover of this is this bison note. It's a $10 legal tender bison note. So seeing this bill on the cover of a book, when I had the opportunity, I wanted to see if I couldn't get one myself. This is a 1901 $10 legal tender. It's called the bison note. And yes, it is one of the large notes. Any note prior to 1928 is going to be a large size, so there's the comparison for you. 1901 legal tender bison note. This is not a buffalo. There are no buffaloes in North America. This is a North American bison on there. Everybody calls them buffalo, but they aren't. They're bison. Anyway, 1901, red seal on here. Red seal makes this a legal tender note. Even says right here, this note is legal tender for dollars subject to the provisions of section 3588 RS. We all know what that one is. Just kidding, no idea what that is. It's got the pictures of Lewis and Clark. Lewis and Clark. That's why the bison's between them, because while Lewis and Clark were exploring, when they made it out west, they had to go through the Great Plains. That's where they were encountering the bisons, North American bison roaming the plains. Take a look at the back of this bill. This is a sticker that's on the case. It's not on the bill. So the bill isn't in the greatest shape, but it is a 1901 bison note. Any note that is neat enough to make the cover of a book is definitely neat enough to make it into my collection. Alright guys, that's what I've got for you this week. If you learned anything new, hit that like button. If you like what I'm doing and want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. And don't forget to tell your friends where you saw it, or you saw all this stuff. Always looking for more subscribers, always looking for more stories to tell. Thanks guys for watching. I'll see you next time.